Thank you, Jacques. You didn't mention the problems with storing hydrogen, and I wondered if you had considered the technology of Russian Amaza, which is being shown to be able to be stored in a steel container and not cause hydrogen embrittlement in a 3-year period at a high pressure, and also be stored for over 10 years in a high pressure steel container without causing any, without losing pressure. And it is able to be mixed with normal hydrocarbons, and it's also able to be mixed with CO2 and burnt directly. It preferentially needs to be mixed with a carbon dioxide or hydrocarbon so that it doesn't destroy anything it goes into. But have you considered that technology? If you haven't, then I can fill you in.
This is not a detailed, study. So, yes, I basically, if you noted on this picture, there was a place for hydrogen-powered cars, for example. So what will be the share between hydrogen cars and hydrocarbon cars, it's the future will tell according between the competitive advantages of one or the other solution, Yes, of course.
No, I mean there's a specific problem with storing and transporting hydrogen, whereas this water gas can be liquefied and piped.
Hydrogen on its own, this is not a conference for hydrogen energy because
okay.
It's a world on its own. Of course, how to make hydrogen is quite easy. How to transport it and how to use it, it's a different story. Of course.
I was wondering if you could explain the background on the term you used with the word quantum in it for LENR.
You mean the word QER?
Well, yes, you used some abbreviation that had the word quantum in it. I was wondering what
Yes, it's dating back from last year, where I said LENR, it means low energy nuclear reactions. And you said nuclear? Wow, nuclear? No, I don't want nuclear. This is the reason why, as Dave presented a few minutes ago, everything is running around quantum mechanics. Even LENR is running because is coming in because there are some quantum effects. And let's refer to that, quantum effects energy, just to explain that we are not talking about classical energy. Of course, we are going to talk about quantum mechanics that nobody understands. And you should not try to understand it, because the deeper you study this, the less chance you have to understand why is lying behind all these equations. But it works. This is, at the end of the day, this is what is interesting. I was proposing last year quantum effects energy, just to avoid the word nuclear.
Jacques, yeah, thanks for the presentation. One of the end-use sectors is transportation, right? And it struck me that you see LENR as generating the primary energy, but then you need another energy carrier to actually go into the vehicles. I think quite a few people, have thoughts about on-board LENR generators. What's your view on that? Because they were kind of missing from your chat. In other words, the
Thank you for this question. Thank you
speak.
for this question. This is just a result of the starting hypothesis. I said these reactors are going to produce heat only at modest temperatures. So this is because of this hypothesis that I come to these conclusions. Now, if you can get on board LENR reactors able to drive that car immediately, that's nice. That's a different scenario. That's all. Please do try to find other scenarios. This is not the only one maybe possible.
Thank you very much for presenting very interesting future scenarios on implementing this QER as an energy source. Maybe I missed something. What is your estimation or calculation regarding how much energy derived from fossil fuels can be saved due to QER implementation? If you have any estimation or calculations on how much energy which presently derived by fossil fuel can be saved, or we can reject this? 100%.
In this scenario, 100% provided you make hydrogen, fossil, synthetic fuels, and so forth. Otherwise, you can reject 100 minus 35. It gives you 65%, two-thirds. Two-thirds of this fossil fuel could be, let's say, avoided. Yes. Basically, of course, everything. Don't take me to the word, you know, it depends on the size of 1/3. But anyway.
This is a question both to you and to the audience, I suppose, or people in the audience. I don't want to ask this question, but I feel I have to. Sooner or later, even you're using a different word, but the word nuclear is already in circulation. Somebody's going to ask about the safety issue.
Of course.
And I would answer, well, none of the labs have blown up yet.
Who wants to answer that question?
But it would be nice sooner or later to develop a kind of physical argument why this source of energy might be intrinsically safe.
My view on that is that we shall be able to answer that question the day we have a theory that explains everything. This is why the theory must not lie too far beyond the experimental progress, you know.